back there. Do you see it?
Yeah. You can see why they call them hummingbird hawk moth, can't you?
Mm. I'm going to get Victoria.
That's incredible. Look at the size of that.
These butterflies are just incredible, aren't they? Look at them.
They're beautiful.
You can see why they call the buddleia the butterfly bush, can't you?
Yeah.
Well, you probably didn't know that.
I did know that actually.
Did you?
And I think you'll find I got a whatnot, a yellow cap this week. It's gorgeous.
There are some cracking plants here now. Look at that, penstemon. Amelia Jane. Beautiful. And monardas. Bergamots. That's what posh people use for their Earl Grey tea to flavour it. It's macchia. There's an upsurge in hydrangea paniculatus and the lythrums are becoming popular. Purple loosestrife. Well, that's a pink bugger. But, there's the normal purple loosestrife. Somebody's had the good sense to display it alongside a purple plum. That would be Helen. It wouldn't be me. I am not very classy like that. And the echinaceas. This is a white form. And just to show you the range of echinaceas now, there's lots of posh varieties, but you can just get mixed seed and grow them up yourself. And you get these lovely colours. Look at that. There's one called Green Twister. Green petals and orange petals and creamy ivory petals. And of course the normal pinks. We stick them on a barrow here because we found over the years that when you're potting stuff, when you put it on a barrow to move it, some bugger always wants it. So what we do now is just have a barrow with stuff on anyway, and stuff is always pulled off of it. In the background, that's a little Lysimachia called Candela. It has these lovely gooseneck sort of twists to the spires. It's a very pretty thing, very reliable, very hardy. Nothing much changes, does it? That's the good thing about this business, it's very cyclical. Sometimes you can be in a late summer like this, midsummer, late July, and you could just as easily be back the previous one or 10 ago. I was writing labels earlier today on some cuttings I'd taken, and I was writing the 20th of the 7th 18, and it was like yesterday that I was writing the 20th of the 7th 69, 71, 73, in the snap of your fingers, and it's all gone. What do you reckon, Pepper? Goes too quick, doesn't it? Finn? Finn Bob? Yeah, there you are. And where's your brother? Tucker! Yeah, I don't know where he's got to. Where's he got to? Peter always asking me about the dogs. Tucker! Where are you? Yes. Yeah. There you are. For all our viewers. Tuck. Who said that? The dogs are all still here. Still alive and kicking. And still driving me crackers. Go on, bugger off. Who's that there? Now if you look at a Crocosmia, you can more or less tell how old it is by the old corms. Look closely at this. And you can see that's this year's corm forming, and that's got the shoot. And there's last year's, the year before that, and the year before that. These form a chain, and they all get nutrients. This one gets nutrients from the others, and very often you can just break the chain and use a nice bit of fresh growth. We're going to show you how to do this in a few minutes. But that's it. These you can sometimes grow them, and they will, if you put them into trays or pots, they'll often put on little side shoots and you can get them, but usually there's more than enough of a Crocosmia to go around. There, you can see those are just little side shoots that have come off of an old corm. That's the old corm, and these little bits have come off. Grow them on and they're okay. I might put all of those in a little pot. That one I might put in on its own because it's got two nice corms here, but they form these chains, like they look like knuckles, and they're very effective. But we can also propagate them out of pots. For our purposes, sometimes we grow an extra 6 pots and put them to one side, and then those 6 pots are grown on, and then we use them the following year. We'll show you how to do that anyway.
Right, we've got some in pots to divide. They're nice and full. Take any weed off. You could do this after, I suppose. Some we had plenty of pots of them, but not a nice clump in the garden. So. Right, so if you kind of get your fingers in, this is quite a full one actually. You can use a knife, but you don't usually need to in these. Once you get a start, you're not too bad. So again, these are quite easy because they're probably younger plants, so you have less rubbish in them. So just pull them apart. Get any excess off. If you have got a particularly tough lot, you can put these in and kind of lever them apart this way. So it's kind of pushing them, but quite gently.
You can also do it the other way, whereby you put them in and push them together.
Oh, that's easy.
If you put them in back to back and push them together, the leverage of the forks will prise them apart for you.
So they're quite loose now. You want to pull them gently, because otherwise you pull the stem off.
Yeah. The forks, that's the traditional way of doing things in a herbaceous border, is to put 2 forks in back to back and then just pull them together and it prizes them apart. Excellent. I would point out that that fork was already bent like that. But you got one there, stuck there. Yeah. Potting shed, it has this beautiful clematis, however you want to say it. It's a lovely yellow form of Tangutica. It's had one major flower in, and you can see why clematis is called old man's beard, can't you? Look at them. These stay on there right through winter. They're lovely silky threads of seed. The threads go into the central boss of the flower, and each of those will have a little seed on the end of it. They are really, really beautiful things. Look at that. There's such a delicacy in nature sometimes. I know. See, the good thing about youngsters is you can sit back, do bugger all, and let them do all the work. It's blooming amazing. And you don't have to pay them as much. It's incredible. In fact, they ought to be paying you for being here. I am, of course, talking twaddle. But this is Clara, and we've set her the task of sorting out these conifers. What are you doing? Getting the weeds out the top?
Yeah, and of the like this. Oh, there's so many.
Yeah. That little thing there, can you see that? You see this here? That bugger there is called pearlwort.
Right.
And a little bastard has little white flowers on it. It gets everywhere. And that stuff you're driving out there, that's sort of fan stuff there, right? Bugger off. Yeah, that's liverwort. And where you've got damp ground, it gets everywhere. And it looks horrible in the pots, doesn't it? You see? See, there's one that ain't been done. And then you see those there that have been done. It looks so much more better.
Yeah.
So much better. More professional. Oh God. It gives me backache getting down there. Oh fuck.
We're doing Crocosmias today, dividing them up. We did this border a few years ago. A lot of people don't realise how many varieties there are. There's a lot of different proper reds, like this Merriman and Hellfire down there. Then your kind of orangey yellows. Then ones like Buttercup here, which is buttercolour really. And then I'll just show you. Some have kind of two-tone, such as that one, which is quite nice actually. That's His Majesty. Some are tall, some are smaller, just naturally. This is a smaller one. The ones in plots have a lot of flowers of these. Then you get the bigger Mason. How do you say that? Well,
Missourianum.
that's more of one of the old varieties.
Yeah, that's that big long.
A big
long sort of like curve of flower.
That's a very open flower, whereas we have ones such as this one, which is very tubular really.
Hang on, I can't get round there. Yeah.
So that's very tubular, but it's attractive as well.
What one is that?
That's Culzean Castle. I've done that one already. Then you get little tiny ones, like James Coe. Pretty
Another
little
one with a
flower.
two-tone flower, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where's that little bugger?
What else have we? You have ones with bronze foliage, which seem a bit shyer to flower. This is Twilight Fairy Gold. Lovely name. We have some nice big clumps of that coming. And then you get big Lucifer, which a lot of people have nowadays, which seems very popular. You often hear people talk about it. Very tall, very big, fairly well behaved. You can see it clumped. Since Lucifer, they brought out Hellfire. People thought Lucifer was red, but Hellfire is definitely red. We thought this might be a bit soft, but it came through last winter fine. Maybe it's been there a good few years now. Some people worry about them running. A lot of these you can see they're naturally clumped, whereas there is one down here that is obviously going to run. Looking at it, where was it? There's one called Zambezi at the back there that's gone a long way, really.
Yeah,
Might suit some situations, but a lot of these are very nice clumps. Right, I shall get my spade.
Thank God for that. I do.
Which one? I was going to do this big nice one here. Orange Devil. So we really have these for propagation, but it is nice to leave plants in the ground. So I'm just going to try and get a bit near the back. It's just rained, so it's a bit easier.
For you.
Sounds better, I think.
Do you hear that lovely crack there of the things breaking?
Shall I go get that?
No, I'll go in a minute. You go and get that out. Let's have a look at that. They can go away. There you are. Well, we'll film you what you're going to do with it next. I'll just go and answer this bell. For whom the bell tolls.
Okay, so we've dug that up. It's still got all the soil and we knocked a bit off back into the ground. We maybe should have done a bit more. We have these old troughs that used to wash vegetables in. So we'll just get a bit off there. That'll do. I wrote my little tag before because I forget things.
Do you forget things?
And a lot of them do look very similar.
Like hostas. Bloody hostas. There's hundreds of them, but they all look the bloody same somewhere. Oh, the customers. That's a fine pair of trousers. Jesus. Right then.
Right, we didn't get a lot because it wasn't a big clump, and it's not enormous one we get asked for a lot basically. But
Well,
it's
it's nice to have them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we tried to work on a third and then hit them every 3 years. So
we don't need the flowers to start with. We sometimes get them to Victoria in the artist thing. These are really simple because they're bulbs. You can just pull them apart. So you're looking for these have a good bit of root on them. These are the old bulbs. We need enough there.
strictly speaking, they're corms, but they look like bulbs.
So that's last year's.
Yeah.
They do get congested after a while, so even if you don't want any more, it might be wise to split them every so often.
They do regenerate quite well, and it is quite necessary. You're right.
These won't have been in a long time, like, and they already have a bit, because things aren't going to be able to grow where that's not so bad. But if they were to have a lot of these, right? So we have them. I have a thing for them, and they're just going in little round pots like these.
What size are they? Do you know?
Well, square rounds we call them. I don't know.
9 centimetre rounds,
Yeah.
I think.
So you don't need all that leaf, really.
The reason Elizabeth's cutting some of that leaf back is because they've been torn out the ground, so the roots have been damaged. And what they do is plants sweat or transpire through their leaves. So if we reduce the leaves, they don't transpire as much, so it conserves moisture and allows the plant to root a bit easier. But they do need some leaf.
So put them at a decent depth. We're just putting one corn in a pot because we're not too worried. These will be for sale in a couple of years, so we needn't put a lot in. If you wanted a nice plant sooner, you could put some more in.
And of course, if you had more.
But these, that's quite rooty, see, so we'll put it in, then put the compost in that. Just push it in a bit and then top it off. It'll sink down a bit with the water. When we come to that, so
You can do one more. Thank you, Elizabeth. That's perfect.
Okay, I'm putting the labels for the Trolleus, Lemon Supreme on the pots. And I'm putting on clean pots before I pot them, so they don't peel off. And you can put them on nice and straightly, like this. See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. It's also a lot easier to put them on, you know, before we actually pot the things up. But yeah.
Right. Just potting the Trolleus Lemon Supreme. What I want to do first is take it out of the pot and then take the shoulder off. See all those weeds there? So I want to take those out so they don't grow like again, or there's no seeds, you know, that would grow. Get the pot, put soil in it. I know I put for like to about halfway, and then put them around the sides like that. You want to do this like motion. So. Just give it like this, and then don't overfill it.
Yeah, we can't get the water in otherwise.
Yeah. And then yeah, don't
That's
know.
it.
Yeah.
The stumping is called tamping, in
Tampon.
case anyone's wondering. We like these weird terms, tamping. Now I know I said we would have a look at this when it was in blossom. Well, to be honest with you, I forgot. But this festoon is now looking quite nice. It's festooned over. It has plenty of fruit on. And it's been pruned back. Now I was going to show you how to prune it as well, but I forgot that. Forget an awful lot. But, however, let's have a little look at this. This is brilliant for mass planting. It works in crappy old ground, it works in sun or shade, and it's a polygonatum. Polygonatum amplexicalis. This is J.S. Calliant. And it's been in flower for ages. I know it looks like a dock leaf. Oh, dock leaves were... They was always considered gardener's toilet paper. Like if you were took short, you try and find a dock leaf. I don't know why. It's like that old tracing paper, toilet paper. I used to get eyes out. God. Anyway, that aside, this is lovely. The bees love it. The flies like it as well because it has quite a stink to it. So rather than you get as many flies as you get bees, it don't matter. They're all pollinating it. In fact, I can see more flies than bees. I don't know if I'm selling this very well. Anyway, that's it. I highly rate it because if you've got a difficult border or a difficult spot, it's perfect for it.
Because I'm not to hoe under them.
Is that what you said?
Because they have delicate little roots.
You see, while Thomas is buggering about at Kew, other people are having to look after his projects for him.
Playing tennis.
Playing tennis, yeah, he's joined the tennis club and hope he might get laid. It does look nice what you've done though. I hope he appreciates it, I do. Look at that. It just looks so nice weed free. One of the reasons we have these conifers is because they're rare and we can use them as stock plants. Come on, Elizabeth, do you actually like them?
Some of them.
Go on a percentage wise, how many? Go on, you can be horrible to him, don't worry about that.
30 maybe.
30%, a third of them or less. Talking about these shit legs.
Right, your tools back. You don't have to film me now, Lisa. I'm covered in sheep shit and everything.
Oh, yeah, it stinks.
I do smell. I'm just... Right, I'll pop in that. Very belated birthday present, actually. I've kept forgetting it.
Oh, look at that. Kew Gardens Golden Ale. You haven't pissed in it?
No. My
No,
shit's
nothing
like that
nasty.
bad.
Now we have these great big feeder. This is called a Conqueror feeder. Now, one of the things I really like at Eggleston is that we have masses of birds. We don't have to deal with slugs or snails or pests on hostas or other plants because we have such a huge bird population, a toad population, and recently we've been taking in a few wounded hedgehogs or hedgehogs that have got hurt. It's a new thing we've started to do. We've got a resident population, but they can't get out of here. There's several acres, and very often these days hedgehogs get injured by strimmers. We had one a couple of weeks back, and he's had a leg amputated because he was strimmed. So we said to the ladies, you can bring him here. And of course they all go, it's a symbiotic relationship. It just, we help them, they help us. But these birds, we get hundreds of them, or maybe you put a clip on later. At the moment, August, it's, they're not, there's plenty of wild food, but they fill up this, they use this feeder every day. We have to fill it up. Now, this, in terms of money, it's about £7 or £8 a day. But it's worth it. They give so much pleasure to people. People come here and the husbands sit down and the wives go off shopping for plants and they just sit and watch the birds for hours on end. Absolutely fantastic. and I love seeing them. And while we're making a living, we'll continue to do it.
Easier. Now I don't want to completely destroy the clump, like I just have. No, that's rubbish. That'll be for a vase.
we don't edit that out, you know. Everybody can see what you've just bollocksed up.
I've just took a nice big bit of that out and cut the bulb off.
It's alright, the bulbs will come back next year.
So,
Get down that front. Yeah, it'll be alright. Get down that front.
I'll do this one and try not to fall in the stream. Just, I think it'll be a bit easier to get to. And I'll do that one when we're not filming, that one. So you want to get right down because they do go quite deep.
I might edit this out for you.